Alright. What were the 3 biggest events in your life?
I would say the death of my father, the Vietnam War, and either the death of my youngest sister or the death of my youngest brother. So that's 4, but we're going to toss up between my brother and sister.
What was life like when you were growing up in the Vietnam War?
Scary. I'm a military brat. My father went to and graduated from West Point, so he was an officer, and we traveled quite a bit and moved quite a lot. But during the Vietnam War, we also had to worry about Cuba, which was communist, Russia, who had the bomb, Germany, and Germany was a divided country at that time. And we had to worry about somebody dropping the atomic bomb on us. So we would have drills. And I can remember being a small child, and we would have these drills, and we would have to hide under our desks. And I can remember thinking then, if they drop the bomb, being under this desk is not going to help one iota. And I was terrified of surviving a bomb blast and all of my family and friends being gone. And I can remember being a small child that if they are dropping the bomb, I'm running under it because I want to be sure that I was vaporized. I did not want to stay on a planet where you died slowly of radiation poisoning. And then with the war, we would watch the news every night, and every night they would list all of those men and sometimes women who were killed in action. Women didn't fight, but like nurses or volunteers might be accidentally killed. They would have the list of MIAs, which was missing in action, POWs.
What's the POW?
POWs are prisoners of war. And the newsreels would be pretty graphic. You would see guys blown up, and my father was in the service, and my father did fight in Vietnam. So it was a scary time. It really was. I always felt like the end of the world was imminent. So it was pretty scary. And like I said, we had drills. When we lived in Florida, we had to have drills in case the Russians submarines got too close to shore and that they could attack by ship or submarine, because that was still prevalent in a lot of people's minds from the Second World War. And what got us into the Second World War was the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And, we all thought that we were safe there. So, like I said, it was scary as a child. It was scary.
What's your best and worst memory that you can think of as in your childhood?
I would say probably my best memories, because we moved a lot, my brothers and sisters were my best friends. So we always played together, and we just always had a good time. And my father was extremely adventurous. I can remember when we were moving from Ohio to California, we took a month to move there, and we kind of zigzagged across the United States, and we went to Yellowstone National Park.
So it was like a month-long road trip almost.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. And we went to all these wonderful places, and I have very fond memories of that trip. And then after we were moving from California to Florida, we did the same thing. But this time, our father took us to Indian reservations, and I was in the 4th grade, and I'm getting emotional now thinking about it. It was so impactful because the poverty that I saw on those Indian reservations was unreal to me. I could not believe that we had people living in this country that lived in such destitute. And I can remember walking with my father, and I asked him, "Why are you taking us to all these places?" And, reminded me of when we were moving to California. We only lived in California for 6 months, so it wasn't that too far away. And he reminded me from when we moved to California, all the great places that he went to. And he said, this time I want you to see the things that aren't so wonderful about this country, so that when you grow up, maybe you can be an instrument of change. And I want you to see that this country isn't perfect. She's fabulous and she's wonderful, but she's in places she's broken, and maybe you can do something about that. And like I said, I was in 4th grade, and I still can remember that. I can see both of us walking together. So that was extremely impactful. And life-altering and changing for me. Now, that was the best. So what was the worst? My worst memory as a child, I would have to say probably my father dying when I was 12. I was almost 13, and that's a tough age for a young girl, the age you are, and I guess most of your classmates. So, for you all to think about losing one of your parents now when you're entering your teenage years and looking at your adulthood coming, even though you have issues and problems with your parents, they're a huge part of your life. So that was extremely impactful and life-altering. It changed the path of my life and everyone in my immediate family.
Yeah, next question is, what was one thing that you would regret forever in your life? Anytime, any place.
Well, I'm kind of old, so I've made a few mistakes.
You're not even. What's the year for being a complete senior citizen? Isn't that 60 something?
I think it's 55. You can get
well,
senior discount at 55. Yeah. Okay. Remember, you're out of the well.
I already did that, but I still all your kitchen stuff. So.
Oh, okay. What was the question? I'm sorry. You threw me by talking about my age.
Yeah, thanks. What was one thing you regret most in life? Any age, any time?
Probably not finishing college. I had always planned on going back, and I think everybody thinks that. When you're young, I've got time, I can get this done, I'm going to go and travel and do this, and I'm going to work for a while and save money and then go back to school. But something happens, and it's called life. Responsibilities, things like that, and that keeps you from finishing things like that. So when you have the opportunity, once you graduate from high school, if your parents are able to and willing to help pay for your education, you need to stay in school and go until you graduate. Or if you get, scholarships or good grants, things like that, definitely just go as far as you can. Because trust me, you'll have plenty of time to live your life. And school is wonderful. The friendships that you make now, some of them can stay with you for the rest of your life. My best friend, she and I have been best friends since I was in 7th grade, and I could not imagine my life without her.
Brenda's awesome.
Right. So, the girlfriends that you have now, if you foster it, it's a relationship that you can keep for the rest of your life. And the relationships that you have during school change who you are and help to mold who you are. So it's important that you surround yourself by being with appropriate and good people, because it can affect your life. So I guess that's probably my biggest regret, is not finishing college. But I did get 2 years in.
Half the time's worth something.
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's see. What is the best advice you can give me now at my age?
Well, I guess I'm not speaking to all young adults. I'm just speaking to you. And I think my best advice for you is to relax and enjoy your life and enjoy your childhood. I'm sure you don't think of yourself as a child, but enjoy your teenage years. just relax, because life is serious and it's going to have a lot of challenges, and you're going to finish out the rest of your life in adulthood. So I would cherish the moments that you have now. And I know you have a lot of responsibilities with school and things that you have to do here at home. But I guess I really do give that advice to all young people. Take things seriously, but also remember to have fun. Remember to have fun, because it's just as important as being smart and studying and being serious. But, you need to have fun too. Is that it?
Yeah, it's an interview.
Oh, okay.
That went on for 10 minutes. Thank you.